Okay, it looks like it's trying to go live. Okay. All right, guys. We are surprisingly not at very many viewers right now on Facebook. In the 4 minutes I was on the Restore Freedom page, we already had like 220 people that were watching me live there. And when I went live on my own page, we already had 60 people that were watching me live there. So hopefully people are going to come on over. It looks like we're still having some come in. So we've had another 25 or 30 join in just the last few seconds. So, okay, just want to make sure I'm giving everybody the opportunity so we don't have those people that are joining in a few minutes late going, oh my gosh, what is she talking about? Get me, type out everything that she said. Wow, I'm having a bad hair day, guys. Sorry about that. I have no idea what's going on with this stuff. So, the updates I wanted to do, so we at the Restore Freedom Initiative, I would love it if they'd stop wearing their masks too. So we at Restore Freedom Initiative, we've been busting our butts on this petition. Our petition has been going the longest, and we've been right there alongside you guys through all the stuff all this crazy stuff that's been going on. And we started May 30th, and we would like to have everything turned in then to the Secretary of State by Thanksgiving Day. And so in order for us to do that, we would need to really have everything turned in to us by November 13th so that I have enough time to go through and we can, lay our eyes on every single petition. We can finish validating a few, tens of thousands more. We can have them sorted and scanned and saved and everything else like that. So the we have already, I'll give you a few brief updates. We have already validated, where are we at? I don't know, I'm looking at my husband like he might have looked at it more recently than me. I want to say we are a little over 30,000 signatures that we have validated. So that is, no, we're at more than that. We're at more than 30,000. I don't know how many more though. And so those are just the signatures. Again, those are not the ones we've collected. Those are what we have validated. We have a team of how many would you say people that are on our validation team at this point?
Maybe 25, 30.
Oh my goodness.
20, 25.
Okay, so we have maybe 30 people that are on our validation team right now. So those are people that have been trained to validate, that are, looking at all the signatures we have on the petitions and double checking those with the actual voter database files that the state has. So whatever the Secretary of State will see, that's what we're seeing, and we're able to see if they are in fact good signatures or if we need to do any follow-up or have people re-sign or anything like that. So we got a good team of people working in that regard. We also have at this point, because we're running low on time and we do need a lot of signatures, we have decided to focus our efforts. So we have 11 main counties that we're going to be focusing on, not because the smaller counties or the counties way up in the UP are not important. I was born in the UP, in fact. You're from Michigan when? Well, I was born way up there. The UP part of the UP. So it's just that we have to be really practical about where we're going to be able to get our signatures from and in how we can best use our resources. So the you should tell Rachel she's on the wrong social media platform. She's commenting on Rocket Chat. She's not on our YouTube video. Sorry, getting notifications from our team about different things from different apps right now. She's still sending messages through there right now. Anyway, so the we're going to focus on 11 main counties. That'll help to get us across the finish line with the signature goal. However, election day is going to be a little bit different. What we are going to do with the resources that we have is to focus on 200 of very strategically selected precincts across the state of Michigan. So the state of Michigan has maybe, I honestly don't know, 8,000 precincts, if I had to guess off the top of my head, more than 5,000, less than 10,000 precincts. And so we obviously can't manage all of that. So we are going to manage to be at 200 of the best precincts in the state for Restore Freedom Initiative potential signers. And we're going to coordinate for, election day, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So we're going to coordinate 4 different shifts throughout the day with the goal of having at least two people on each shift at each of these polls. So that's 1,600 time slots that we're going to try to fill between now and election day. So we are asking that you go and help us to sign up for this. So the link for that is in the very first link, very first part of the description of this video. But it is restorefreedomkh.com/election day. And we ask that you do go there and fill that out and help us know which counties or which precincts you might be able to help us with. And we will communicate with you as we get more information filled out so we can see exactly where we can plug in people. Now, the great part about this is I think it was today that the recall petition has launched its signature drive. They are officially have boots on the ground and they are out and running. And they are just as eager as we are to get their signatures. Of course, they need a little bit less than 1.2 million signatures, whereas we only need 425,000. Sorry, I'm getting notifications from my team. 425,059 signatures, and we already have a good chunk of that. But anyway, we have the same goal. We want to restore freedom here in Michigan, and we want to send a message that our government cannot keep treating us this way. And so obviously the Restore Freedom Initiative is a bit more bipartisan than the recall effort. Well, quite frankly, the Restore Freedom Initiative is nonpartisan. It's not partisan at all because both parties hate it. Both parties want to keep their power. So that's why the legislature didn't back mine, but they backed the Repeal 45. Anyway, I believe the GOP is officially getting behind the recall petition, as far as I could tell. Anyway, and so that's great. So essentially, we are doing those 200 specific precincts, and in my discussions today with recall, it looks like what they're doing is they're going to actually try to coordinate or facilitate at least a good effort for their volunteers to be at essentially all the other precincts. And we would strongly encourage anybody who's circulating our petitions on election day to go ahead and circulate the recall petitions. And likewise, they are encouraging anybody who's circulating the recall petitions on election day to be circulating our petitions, or any other time. But I mean, this conversation is specifically focused on election day. So with that in mind, there's a training video that we will be putting out soon specific for election day. And we will help you guys understand how there's only one difference in terms of knowing how to properly fill out the Restore Freedom Initiative petition versus the recall petitions. One difference, everything else is the same. And we will get you guys the tools that you need to know. We know that there might be some liberals that are out there harassing or giving you a hard time. We know that there might be some election officials who don't know the law, and they certainly don't know the Constitution. And although they need to be recalled themselves or put in jail or whatever the appropriate situation is, in the meantime, they're still in authority. And you need to be able to know what your rights are and how to respond to those situations. So our training video and our training success toolkit that we will provide to you is it's going to be out very soon. And my understanding is that recall will probably be sharing or utilizing our training materials because, again, it's the same thing. The only difference is one thing at the top of the form, where you put county for ours, you put city or municipality for theirs, basically is the difference. The whole rest of the piece, all the way through on the signature lines, exactly the same. So why reinvent the wheel when resources are limited between grassroots movements? We don't need to do that. So anyway, if you would like to sign up at any of those 200 specific precincts, please go to our form. Again, you can find that at restorefreedomkh.com/election day. And I am not sure if they are going to go with this. I know that Recall was kind of thinking about doing a recallwhitmer.com/election day link. If not, I'm not sure if he sent it over, but David Blair from the Recall side has a form for you guys to sign up if you would like to focus on one of the other than the 200 precincts. So at any rate, wanted to give you that information that we will be fighting alongside the Recall effort and essentially working in tandem. They're doing their thing, we're doing ours, but we're doing it in different precincts on the same day at the same times so that we can have the most success for both petitions. So if you have any specific questions about Recall, though, you're going to need to contact, I honestly don't know what their main point of contact is, if that's going to be Tom Horn, if that's going to be David Blair, who that is on their side of things. I guess I should have asked that before I did a video. But if you go to their website, I do believe it's recallwhitmer.com. Does that sound right, babe? Recallwhitmer.com. I thought husbands are supposed to know everything. I think it's recallwhitmer.com. So at any rate, I won't be the one to quite answer about that. So yes, Kathleen Armstrong, you were asking about the 1976 law. I guess let me just kind of recap real quick. I'm assuming, I'm sorry, that's my assumption, but I'm assuming that a lot of people that are watching me at this point, I know I've seen your name on stuff that you have kind of been following all along. And so that's my bad. I shouldn't make that assumption because then I don't necessarily explain things that I could be explaining and making things clear. So I will clear up a few things right now. The Restore Freedom Initiative petition is, it is a constitutional amendment petition. It's not changing the structure or the form of government. It's still going to be a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. I guarantee you, I understand the separation of powers a heck of a lot more than the executive branch does. And quite frankly, I would say even than the judicial branch does, given some recent court decisions we've seen here in the state of Michigan. So I'm not changing any of that. What I'm changing is the ability of our government officials to do whatever they want to try to control the people. If our government officials act inappropriately, they can currently hide behind a whole bunch of shields of immunity. Not the thing anymore with this Restore Freedom Initiative petition. It is securing our rights in ways that we've never, well, initially, hundreds of years ago, never thought we would have to do, but certainly in the last, couple of decades, we never thought we would see again, because common sense has flown right out the window when it comes to how our government treats us and how we respond to that. So our rights are clarified, and hi, Sergey, thank you. So our rights are, we all know, the very first thing that the Restore Freedom Initiative petition does is we know we have the right to due process, right? But what does that really mean? I can ask any one of you, and I'll see if anybody has a super clear answer that they can post. But I'm not seeing anybody really post an answer real quick yet. Yeah, it's not real clear. What does due process mean? So what due process will mean when this initiative gets on the ballot and the people vote for it is that if the government wants to infringe upon our rights at all to life, liberty, or property, they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, not just in a criminal case, in any situation where they are trying to take away our rights to life, liberty, or property, or reduce them at all, or infringe upon them in any way, they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that it's necessary because we are in fact infringing upon the life, liberty, or property of another individual. So it's, if you are going to murder someone, obviously you need to be held accountable for that. And that's one of those scenarios that the government is there. The government's set up solely to protect our God-given liberties. So something would need to be done about that. But if you are, say, wanting to homeschool your child and some crazy government worker thinks that should turn into some sort of child protection case and have your child removed from you or whatever, or you've tested positive for COVID-19 and they want to come in your home and remove your child from you, I don't think so. We have a God-given right to be able to raise our own children. And so they would have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, they would need to take your child away from you because you are going to harm your child's life, liberty, or property. And that taking them away would be necessary in order to stop that. So what about, say Carl the Barber? My understanding, the last update I saw was that the criminal charges and all that was dismissed, but Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs or whatever, Mdhhs, some sort of part of the executive branch is deciding that they still want to hold his barber's license captive. And again, that would be a property interest. And would the government have the right to do that? Well, with this petition, they would have to prove they need to go and take his property interest in his barber's license because he is harming somebody else's life, liberty, or property. And that would be the appropriate response. They can't do that. Carl the Barber has not hurt anybody else's life, liberty, or property by simply cutting hair. So those are some basic things that are all protected, all in one foul swoop, just in the first few words of this amendment. Like I mentioned, the immunity thing goes out the window. If you have a government official, say Gretchen Whitmer, Secretary of State Benson, Mdhhs Robert Gordon, whatever, who violates the Constitution, and they do so intentionally, then when they do that the first time, it's a misdemeanor. I mean, you could still sue them in a civil capacity, but the first time they intentionally violate the Constitution, it would be a misdemeanor. The second time they intentionally violate the Constitution, it's a felony. And this is in the Restore Freedom Initiative Amendment. And they would be immediately removed from office. So we did not need to collect 1.2 million signatures to get them on the ballot to be removed. And they would be prohibited from ever holding office as a state or local official ever again. Those are some of the really great parts that I love about the Restore Freedom Initiative petition. As you can see, all those kinds of things. It also solidifies the best parts of the Open Meetings Act, the OMA, and the Freedom of Information Act, FOIA. It cuts out all the loopholes and things like that, all the garbage that the legislature has built in over the years. That part's gone. And the best parts would be solidified in that in the Constitution. What an irony, Freedom of Information Act. Freedom of information. So they don't give you freely the information. You have to jump through a bunch of hoops to request it. And then when you do request it, then they have to, Rosemary, I would love to go get some rest and have a long vacation. That would be great. Or a short vacation at this point, or a whole day off. I'd love 24 hours off. But anyway, so they, dang it. I read a comment and I shouldn't have done that because now I lost my whole train of thought. At any rate, Freedom of Information Act. Then they charge you for getting the free information, and then they often can delay it. Oh, we need this extension or that, or here we're just going to deny it outright and say there's an exclusion. No, under the amendment, when it becomes part of the Constitution, there's not all these extensions and things that they need to do, not in that sense. And they certainly don't get to charge you unless you are requesting it to be in some sort of printed out or paper format. Quite frankly, you don't even have to make a request in most instances, because the amendment will now require the government entities to put most of this information right online in a conspicuous way on their website, so you can see it as an individual, as an average citizen trying to look at what your government is doing. You'll be able to just scroll through their website and then see, click, oh, that's what I was looking for, and be able to get that. There's no request that would really need to be made in most instances. But again, if you did need to make a request, then as long as you were requesting that in electronic format, there's nothing for them to print or anything like that. The government works for us. It's not the other way around. We already pay them. It's called taxes. So definitely, we have the right to get the very information that we need in order to hold our government officials accountable, in order to be able to see what it is they're doing and why they're doing it. And, you know, Governor Whitmer's decisions on COVID and the whole, you know, death numbers in nursing homes and everything else, that's just an example of the way that information is being wrongfully withheld from the people. It's waking people up to some of it, but quite frankly, this has been going on for quite some time and in a lot of different ways. And it all needs to stop, which it will with this amendment. So other things, you know, you're talking about, and the original reason why I was addressing this was somebody said, you know, we need to repeal the 1976 law. We do. We need to not have the 1945 law. We need to not have the 1976 law. We need to not have the public health code provisions that are seemingly empowering these local health departments and state health department directors to issue these orders that impact our rights and all these other things. But just so you know, when this Restore Freedom Initiative petition gets enough signatures, gets on the ballot, and gets voted on, and becomes part of the Constitution, all of those bad laws go away. They're not going to be in effect. This petition stops all of that nonsense. It also stops ahead of time mandatory COVID vaccine or mandatory microchipping or you know, mask wearing or contact tracing efforts. All of that is stopped by this Restore Freedom Initiative petition. So we have quite a bit more that we could go over there. I just wanted to at least address some of that because I saw those were some of the questions that I was starting to see that were scrolling. As far as Election Day, again, I want to give one more update on Election Day itself. So if you're just tuning in, because I'm seeing there's more and more people that have been signing on, make sure to please help us, even if you can only sign up for a few hours. I ask that you do that, and we can fit you into a time slot. And I strategically picked, we have one county that has a few precincts in the UP. I believe that's Marquette County. And then we have one county that's up north, Grand Traverse County, where we're going to have some precincts available to be able to help with this effort. And then we have quite a few in the Kent County and Ottawa County, like 2 in Kalamazoo and some in Allegan. And then, of course, Oakland and Macomb and Livingston and those kinds of counties. Saginaw, I think, has a few, those kinds of areas. So I ask you, there's 200 all across the state. I ask that you devote even just a few hours of your time. Now, if you can take the day off and donate the entire day to helping us collect signatures, we would greatly appreciate your partnership in restoring our freedom in that way. I certainly can't do this without you. I'm only one person. I can only sit at one. That is assuming I'm not answering a ton of other emails and phone calls and text messages with people asking questions, which is likely what I will have to do on Election Day, because I'm sure that people, just as at primary day, election workers were giving my volunteers a very hard time in certain precincts. So I need to be prepared to answer those phone calls myself. But we're going to give you the tools that you need. We're going to make sure that you have the petitions that you need. We're going to organize who's in which of those precincts. You're going to be able to sign up for a particular county. And then within that county, we'll tell you, like Kalamazoo, we have 2 precincts that we're focusing on down there. Not focusing on the others for a variety of reasons. Not that they're terrible precincts, but just not ones that we are going to manage at the Restore Freedom Initiative. If you say, let's say you live in Houghton County and you can't make it to Marquette County that day, but you want to help us in this way, I would ask that you consider touching base with the Recall Whitmer group, because they are going to facilitate all the other counties outside of the 200 that we're the 200 precincts that we're looking at. They are coordinating the other ones. And again, we're asking that people strongly consider circulating both petitions. So if you're there to circulate the Restore Freedom petition, we'd ask you strongly consider circulating the Recall Whitmer petition. And if you're out there just wanting to circulate the Recall Whitmer petition, I especially am obviously asking that you, Sergey, hold on a second. That's a good question. I'm trying to keep my thought. That we will, we want you to get Restore Freedom Initiative signatures that day. So, there's no reason why we can't get both. I think a lot of people will feel a lot more empowered being able to do that. There is a chance we might have a recall petition for Secretary of State Benson circulating at the same time, not done by us, not done by the official recall group, but I do have an individual who I believe has approved language that has gone through the Board of State Canvassers and is working on seeing if he can officially get the petitions out across the state. So there's a chance that that will happen as well. So as far as the last update goes, though, as you probably are well aware, do I have her? Do I have it anywhere here? Secretary of State Benson. Michael, Michael. Oh my God. You're supposed to be helping me. Okay. Secretary of State Benson has issued the ever so lovely open carry of firearms at polling places on Election Day prohibited notice. Doesn't even say the word notice, doesn't say the word order, certainly doesn't say the word law. Why? Because she can't issue any of those. She's the Secretary of State. So in here, she has stated that the presence of firearms at the polling place, clerk's office, or absent voter counting board may cause disruption, fear, or intimidation of voters, election workers, or others present. A gun! It's awful! Why would anyone own a gun? I've never open carried before to Election Day, but I'm kind of thinking I need to do that this year. Okay, my husband just got really excited over there. Do you want to come show everyone how you reacted to that, babe?
No, but I was thinking the same thing.
Apparently he's thinking the same thing. So the interesting thing is that she's saying this because she wants to secure the full and free exercise of the right to vote. So pause that thought for a minute. Let's go over to Article 1, Section 6 of our state constitution, which says, I will read it to you guys. Every person has a right to keep and bear arms for the defense of himself and the state. Okay, well, maybe you can like change that up on certain days or at certain government offices or whatever. No, it actually says in the preamble that we're securing these blessings undiminished, these blessings of freedom undiminished. So you don't get to change that up just because on election day, a bunch of sissies are afraid of seeing a gun. Babe, if you're going to keep laughing at me, it's going to distract me. You're going to silently laugh at me over there now? And so, oh, did I not take out the, okay. And then of course in our US Constitution, our Second Amendment says the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Shall not be infringed. You cannot stop people from the right to keep and bear arms. So our Secretary of State, funny thing about that, she actually is a member of the executive branch. And Article 6 of our US Constitution says that she had to take an oath in order to have that job. She had to take an oath to uphold the US Constitution. So she can't violate the Second Amendment. Also, she, being in that office, was required to take an oath under Article 11, Section 1 of our state constitution to uphold the US and Michigan constitutions. So she then cannot violate Article 1, Section 6 about gun laws. Okay, so can the Secretary of State make those restrictions and stop us from open carrying in a polling place on election day? No. She needs to read the Constitution. And guess what? She has recently come out saying and bragging about how she's not only an attorney, but she's been a constitutional attorney, and she knows better. All the more reason to have the Restore Freedom Initiative in place, because that would be a criminal conviction. By the way, I have had people asking if you can file a grievance with the Attorney Grievance Commission on these elected officials. And yes, I do believe Robert Gordon is an elected official who's a licensed attorney. I know he's an attorney. I don't know if he's still licensed. Certainly the governor is a licensed attorney that you could file a grievance against if you wanted to do so. But yes, the Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson, is a licensed attorney with the state of Michigan. And if you wanted to file a grievance against any of those, you don't need to be an attorney. You can simply Google Attorney Grievance Commission, Michigan, and you'll be able to see exactly how you can do that. You can print their form off, and it shows you how to fill it out and send it in. So hopefully that answers some of those questions that were coming up. Every gun law is unconstitutional. Robert, I knew I liked you. Yes, and I did not forget about your uncle's question, by the way. I'm just horribly slow at being able to answer things these days because I'm a little inundated. But I do have an extra set of removed windows if you wanted to stop by. Anyway, so they can't do that. You have a right to open carry. The interesting thing obviously becomes, well, what about in situations where, let's say, like when I lived in Midland, when I first moved back to Michigan in 2008, and I was voting, my voting precinct was at an elementary school. Well, that's an interesting one, isn't it? Because we wouldn't even go there. Did they file? So I know that Michigan Open Carry was looking at filing a lawsuit against the Secretary of State for this. And I'm actually a member of MCRGO, Michigan Coalition of Responsible Gun Owners. I have been a member of Michigan Open Carry for several years as well. Okay. So what apparently they were pointing out, the Michigan Coalition for Responsible Gun Owners, is that the issue of concealed carry at a church or school serving as a polling place has not yet been tested in court. So again, what my husband was pointing out earlier was basically the thought is, if your polling precinct is at a church or a school or a place that might otherwise be a no-gun zone, while you are there for election purposes, so while it is serving as a polling precinct, it is no longer functioning as a church for that period of time. I would argue that's 100% accurate, just the same way that a private business is no longer just a private business when they are acting as an arm of the state and trying to enforce executive orders or emergency orders from the director of the Department of Health and Human Services or local health department orders. So the same concept applies when you are serving as a government entity or doing the government's dirty work or engaging in a essential government function such as voting, then you are not serving as a private entity for that purpose. You're no longer a church for that period of time. You're no longer a school for that period of time. You are serving as a different kind of government entity, which is now a polling precinct. So at any rate, I'm going to see if I have any questions. I think a couple real quick points I wanted to make since I have people on here is, so we've had these issues with the local health departments and the state health department and how they're screwing around with these orders. Hopefully all of you by now have seen, Mike, is there any way you can just grab that and bring it behind me just for a second? Not the whole thing, just hold it, just the thing itself. Yeah, just for a quick moment. I'm not going to keep it over here. Okay, so hopefully all of you by now have had a chance to see my video that I talked about the local health department orders and the state health department orders. Yeah, hold on. Okay, so 333.2253 is the state law that talks about the state Department of Health and Human Services orders that Robert Gordon is trying to use. And MCL 333.2453 is the one that the local health departments are trying to use. And I had talked about what kinds of things they're trying to make it cover and what the law actually says they can do, the constitutional provisions that are involved, and which government actors are involved here, what their oath of office is, and the fact that in the end, fast forward, right, are they legal? Is it legal for these local health departments or state health department officials to try to require contact tracing, microchipping, COVID or flu vaccines, mask requirements, social distancing, or temperature checks at their places? Answer is no, it's not even legal. It doesn't follow the laws that they're claiming give them that authority in the first place. But most importantly, they're not constitutional either, which is why we went over this discussion, okay? So if you guys have seen this picture posted on somewhere and it's out of context, it matches a video that talks about it. And I also went over in that video and I talked about how the term health appears in the US or Michigan constitutions, not at all in the US Constitution, in very limited capacities in the Michigan Constitution. The term welfare, like if you're thinking of the general welfare, how that actually appears in the US and Michigan constitutions, as well as the concept of public safety. So if you haven't seen that video, yes, it's like an hour and 4 minutes long, but do make sure to watch it because it's going to give you a nutshell all of this information and be able to give you the tools that you need to be able to defend yourself no matter what the setting is. So thanks, babe. So with that being said, I guess I can answer questions. I was trying to think of what I wanted to do is tell you that some recent things have come to my attention. I have not had a chance to read. I've had a team member who was trying to keep me up to speed on things that were happening in the Christian school world, where we have local health departments that are shutting down an entire school, claiming that there's a COVID-19 outbreak when not a single student actually has COVID-19. The retirement communities, such as the one I visited today, where an apartment manager seems to think that because they're in Ingham County, and Ingham County has these local health department orders that are claiming that people have to have masks on, yada, 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 that somehow means that she has the right to bully residents who have, I don't know, worked their entire lives. This is a retirement apartment building, not assisted living, not a nursing home. It is a retirement apartment building. And these individuals, as senior citizens, simply want to be able to sit around, play some cards, be able to cook a meal together, to be able to enjoy time in their library. A library, I might add, that Dan, a very handy guy, lovingly created and built these shelves and then helps to sort the books and puts these big placards that say, cooking section, or I don't remember how he had them divided out, but help yourself books or whatever, fiction or whatever, however he had them divided, right? However you might see it in a bookstore. He lovingly put them in super big print so that the senior citizens that were his neighbors and friends would be able to see what kind of section there are in their books in their library. And yet you have an apartment manager who seems to think she can lock that all up and take away their ability to sit in their community kitchen area and be able to have parties in there, graduation parties or birthday parties, or even they were doing exercise classes in there together. They would go and put on like a video game and then that had the exercising elements in there. And she was shutting them down from exercising. And if they want to sit together at all, they can only do so on one of two little tiny wooden benches that are way out at the far end of their building, where there's not even a sidewalk. So for those residents who have to use a walker, they can't even get there. That kind of crap is not okay. I don't care who you are or how much money you think you make or how big and powerful you think your company is. When that apartment manager decided to come up to me and tell me that I needed to wear a mask in her building because it was local health department orders, I told her, no, actually I don't, because that's not the law. And she claimed that it was, to which I then responded by walking over towards the area where she had the Mdhhs orders up on the wall with the law cited on there. And I said, you know what, you should actually read this law. This one, that particular one, was MCL 333.3. 2253. I said, this one is the state health department order. You should actually read this, because if you read this law, it actually is pretty clear. It's pretty simple and short. And it says they can't do all of this stuff. So you should read it for yourself. Check it out. But I don't need to wear a mask in this building, and neither do these residents if they choose not to. So it's about time that we stand up for each other. We stand up for ourselves. This took a courageous woman who had nothing else to go off of. She had a little bit of hope, and she was out digging around on Facebook for a way to somehow be able to live in her building and not have literally die from some sort of health implications after having COPD or any kind of other heart conditions or anything where she can't wear a mask in her own home, in her apartment building where she pays rent to live there. And she's being harassed about it. So if that woman could reach out to me and give me the information I needed to be able to go and introduce myself to a variety of the residents there and shaking their hands and giving them information on what their rights are, if she can then walk around and give that information and share that information to other friends and neighbors that she has in that building, what can you do? You can empower way more people than that, couldn't you? If you have a car that's currently functioning, especially if you have a job that's outside of the home, you have the ability to reach even more people than my friend at that apartment building. You can do this, and I'm asking you to do so. So obviously, I want your help on Election Day. That's what this update was about. I need your help on Election Day. Absolutely. In fact, my new friend said she's going to help us. We just have to make sure we get some petitions in her hands. Because somehow we didn't bring any today. I didn't have my car, so it's not my fault. I was riding with a teammate who was cleaning out the back seat, so myself and my daughter could join in her car, and we just happened to have a little snafu that the petitions didn't get back in the car today. So, but that's not what we were there to do anyway. So can a local health department just come in and shut down a Christian school and claim that there's a COVID-19 outbreak? Nope. That's not a thing. Last I checked, especially for a religious school, but even any kind of public school, if there is no outbreak of some sort of deadly illness, now remember, children are far less likely to die from COVID than they are the flu. I want to say it's 12 times less deadly in children than the flu is. Then why would we shut the schools down? Funny little thing. I'm pretty sure there's not a law that allows that. But let's say for a minute that the legislature was stupid enough to pass a law like that in the first place. We're going to take out our trusty little Michigan Constitution yet again. And if you can go with me to Article 8, Section 1 of our state constitution. The first two parts alone say religion, morality, and knowledge being necessary to good government and the happiness of mankind, schools and the means of education shall forever be encouraged. Shutting down a school is the opposite of encouraging it. Shutting down a religious school is definitely the opposite of recognizing that religion and morality are necessary to good government and the happiness of mankind. But let's continue on to Article 8, Section 2. Free public elementary and secondary schools, right? The legislature shall maintain and support a system of free public elementary and secondary schools as defined by law. Every school district shall provide for the education of its pupils without discrimination as to religion, creed, race, color, or national origin. You put all these things into place, it pretty much solidifies how we in Michigan here think that it's extremely important for our children to be able to get an education, and that a local health department is not in the position to understand the educational needs of a child any better than anybody else. And they have no right, absolutely zero authority under our Constitution, state or federal, to go in and shut down an entire school and not allow people to go in, especially when it's a religious school. Isn't that convenient? So can a local health department force residents to wear masks in their own apartment buildings? No. Can the apartment managers force residents to wear masks while they're in their own homes, their apartment buildings, or even outside visiting with neighbors? No. Can a local health department shut down an entire school claiming that there's a COVID-19 outbreak? No. Are they doing that now? Yes. Can you stop them? Yes, you can. We need to help each other. We need to work together to do this. So whether you are driving over to somebody else's place to tell an apartment manager or a local public health official or a school board member what the law and what the Constitution actually require, or whether you are stepping up in any kind of other way, helping to gather the evidence necessary that would be useful in a lawsuit against them. Whatever is needed, you each can help in that way, and I would ask that you do that. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of comments. Kathleen Armstrong, I don't know when this was. Oh, you know what? I think I can turn on time. There we go. Oh, yeah, that went away. Okay, so I actually can't see much of so there was a question Kathy was asking. Oh, I think the question was, why has there not been a citizen's arrest? Funny thing is, that's actually, if you heard about the whole kidnapping and whatnot plot against the governor, the allegation is that they were actually planning to arrest her and put her on trial for her crimes. Has she committed crimes? I can guarantee that. Everybody can see that. What is one crime she's committed? Well, we can just start simple. How about 18 USC section 241, a federal law that says it is a felony to conspire with another to deprive the rights of a United States citizen. She's definitely doing that. She's depriving the rights of millions of citizens. So what happens when people try to do citizen's arrest and put her on trial? They apparently get arrested by the FBI and state police. Okay, so who is this? I don't even know what I'm doing. The Trump rally on Tuesday needs a lot of circulators. Do we know about a Trump rally?
No.
I don't know about a Trump rally, but we do need a lot of circulators there. Sergey, you had another question. I'm looking for it. I'm not so good about this super chat stuff. I apologize. I'm learning what this is all about. Oh, that's one of your questions. Okay. So Sergey had asked, if you don't get enough signatures, will you keep collecting them through 2022? So Sergey, there is a 180-day rolling time frame. So whenever we turn the signatures in, all signatures have to be no older than 180 days at that point. So if we keep from the very first signature, my signature was on May 30th. The 180th day means we'd have to turn those in by Thanksgiving Day. If we, let's say there was, I don't know, we were just shy and we knew that in November, there was going to be some huge Trump rally. I mean, like bigger than anything we've seen before. There's going to be, 1 million people there, and we were going to be allowed to circulate petitions very easily. We could have all those signatures collected, and then the first few days of signatures might not be collected or might not be counted, but we will be able to include those. But whatever that is, it's a 180-day window that we're looking at. And so whether it moves this way or whatever, but we can't just continue all the way into 2022. It would have to, whenever we turn them in, we only get the prior 180 days of signatures, if that answers your question. Carol, looks like we need to go to Carol because people were not wearing masks. Emma, are you okay? That sounded like it hurt. Does the Michigan School Code really qualify to Elizabeth, I guess I'm not getting exactly what your question is. Is a mask part of a school dress code, I think is what you're asking? The answer would be no. That's ridiculousness. Cassandra, you can actually go to an event anywhere in the state. You don't have to be in your own county. You can be visiting up north and stop in and sign the Restore Freedom Initiative petition. You just need to make sure you're signing one that at the top says your county. So if you don't see one already filled out, then you just ask the circulator if they can start a new page for your county. Okay, so I'm just seeing if there's any more questions. If you guys have questions, now's the time. Man, my contacts are really bugging out. Sorry, guys. I can't see anymore. I know, right, Jill? Jill says that her cousin asked her why she wants a gun, and she said, because I can. And her cousin looked at her like she was going to commit a crime. We have a right to defend ourselves and our state. It says so right in our Constitution. It's a God-given liberty. I wanted a gun to be able to defend myself. Why? Because there's a bunch of sickos out there that think that if they don't agree with me or my politics or my policies or the fact that I like the Constitution, that they have the right to key my car. Yeah, those of you on Reddit, I'm not stupid. I know what you're writing out there. And by the way, that wasn't my car you were talking about. So, yeah. And people that have been out there emailing me, calling me, whatever, with all kinds of death threats and wishing me to die of a horrible death of COVID-19, a variety of other kinds of, awful things. It's just not, I would prefer to be able to, and if I find myself in a sticky situation, be able to protect myself and my child, because I'm not going to leave it up to government officials who can't even figure out how to read the Constitution most of the time. Yeah. Governors cannot make laws, and directors of Department of Health and Human Services cannot make laws, and Secretary of State, they can't make laws either. If you're in the executive branch, you actually don't get to make laws ever, just so you know. Yeah. Okay, just making sure I don't see any more questions. Hopefully, Cassandra, somebody has answered you, because I do know that we have a Saginaw County captain, and I know we have people in Bay City as well. In fact, I had a driver deliver petitions to Bay County today. But my father's in Midland County, so he's not very far from you either. Carol, you are more than welcome. I think teachers should have them as well. I mean, if teachers had firearms, Columbine would have been an entirely different situation. Is it Sandy Hook? Is that the right name? Yeah. Sandy Hook would have been an entirely different situation. What's the one in Florida? Central Florida? Parkland would have been an entirely different situation. I mean, if only the bad guys have guns, what sense does that make? Oh, by the way, I do stand by what I said on the Fox 17 news station about a week ago. If you live in Georgetown Township and you're wondering who to vote for, if you don't think the Constitution is the supreme law of the land outside of God's law, right? Then I would ask that you not vote for me, because I actually think the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and I intend to enforce that in every single step along the way in Georgetown Township for the remainder or the entirety of my term. So if you do love the Constitution, if you do value your God-given liberties, and if you want to make sure that government is actually accessible and accountable, then you might want to vote for me. Just saying. Do we know who 1911 Smoking Gun is? I'm not sure if I should know who you are, 1911 Smoking Gun, but you know of a good attorney. I would love to know who that is because I'd love to refer cases to somebody, unless you're talking about me. Well, of course I'm a great attorney, but I don't know in the context of what you were saying there. What about the new executive order from Whitmer about businesses being on their own when violating mask issues? What? Where did that come from? She has a new one? Can you double check that, Mike, please? Yep, the governor. Governor.
There's all these bills that were passed today.
What do you mean passed? Passed through both?
I'm
Okay, can you, okay, pause on that for a second. Can you please check this person's question? Okay, so we are checking on that. I didn't know there were any new executive orders from Whitmer, but anything to do with COVID-19, mask issues or not, she has no authority to do that. There's no statute she can use to issue any more of those executive orders. 192? Okay, so Josie, I think it is, that wrote that. There are no new executive orders. The governor's last executive order was Executive Order 2020-192, which was in place at the beginning of this month, if not by the end of September. And all of those executive orders they're gone. So can the VA refuse me medical care since I won't wear a mask? No one can refuse you medical care because you won't or can't wear a mask. No one can refuse you. If they are refusing you medical care, first of all, I'm pretty sure they've taken a Hippocratic oath to do no harm. So they're violating that oath. If they're any kind of entity, agent, employee of the government, they have an obligation to take an oath of office there. So they're violating that oath. But you have a God-given right to breathe your own air and to not breathe your own recycled air, to not have any kind of bacteria building up on a regular basis around your face, because the science and the data actually shows that it's bad for you to wear a mask. You do not have to wear a mask, and no one can deny you medical care because you won't wear a mask. Are they doing it? Yes. Unfortunately, some facilities and some doctors are doing that, but they don't have a right to do that. What can I do to prevent wearing a mask as an election official? We can talk in more depth about that, but as an election official, you do not have to, no human being can legally or constitutionally be forced to wear a mask. You cannot be forced to wear a mask. If you are a sheriff's deputy, if you are you're an election official, if you're a chief of police, if you are a school teacher, if you're a bus driver, they legally cannot. There's no constitutional grounds to force you to wear a mask. And I can only be in so many places at once. So I would ask that those of you out there who know your rights, who know the Constitution, who know our statutes, who've been paying attention to my videos, I would ask, if you're not going to be collecting signatures that day for us, well, really, I would ask that you do. If you can help each other, well, and for an election worker, that would just be election day, I'm assuming, that we're talking about. But for other positions or people, let's do something on the Restore Freedom Initiative group on Facebook, or in some other way, that if you are in a position that you work for the government and you need backup, so that you can exercise your God-given liberty to breathe your own fresh air, then let's do that. Let's put support together so that people know where to go to support you, because I know that there's a lot of people out there that would do that. So let's make it happen. Let's work together. I would love to personally support everybody in that regard. I'm only one person and I'm far behind on my emails and things. So it's not because everybody's not important. It's just because I don't only have so much time in a day. Someone says that their sister-in-law told them their employer monitors the Facebook pages and groups that the employees follow and that they are not allowed to sign any petitions. I would like to get that in writing, get that in a text message or email or something. Better yet, if it's in a written policy, because if that's the case, that would be an easy lawsuit right there. Absolutely. What is this?
Those are some of the laws that passed today.
They're actual laws?
Or yesterday.
Oh
I
no.
don't know if they're good or bad.
Apparently I will be doing an update. Oh no. I will be doing an update as soon as possible on, you better, are you looking at all of the ones that have recently passed? Can you look another way to see all of the ones that have recently passed? So I will be soon doing an update on the recent statutes apparently that are passing, because our Republican legislature are a bunch of sissies who don't know how to read the Constitution. I'm really devastated to see the names that are on there. I won't say any out loud right now because I will read the bills in their entirety, or the laws, as I should say. Keep in mind, though, regardless of what laws have passed with these ridiculous Republican legislators working together with the governor to control us, if they violate the state or federal constitution, you don't have to follow them. You don't have to wait for the court to tell you that they're unconstitutional. Because obviously, as we've seen, courts can get it wrong. We don't get our rights from the courts. We get our rights from God. It says so right in our Constitution. So if we are starting to see in the news or in press conferences or in businesses or in other situations, any of these situations, that these new bills are starting to be a problem, these new laws are starting to be a problem, then please keep in mind you have rights given to you by God, guaranteed by the Constitution, and you do not ever have to follow an unconstitutional law. Ever. Hey, Mike, what are you looking up the bills? Okay, so it's really hard for me to see. I mean, I'm super tired, but my contacts are really struggling here. I hope I'm not skipping over any of the I hope I'm not skipping over any comments or questions you guys have that I need to be addressing. I'm trying my best to be able to read all this. If you think I should run for governor, like I've told people before, you can create the campaign committee, the candidate committee. The people can put that together and fill, the whatever. I think it's the president, the record keeper, the treasurer. I'm not filling any of those slots. You guys can raise the funds. You guys can put together the events. I will show up and go to events. If you want me to run for governor, then you guys have to do the campaign work in that sense. And we got 2 years left. We'd have to start now because I highly doubt the Republican Party is going to want to bring me on board because I don't play nice just to get more power. So, if you need more U.S. constitutions, you can certainly get some through us. We just ask that you pay the cost of I don't know what that means. Mike, I got some sort of emoji. Come help me. I don't know what this means. Please. Yeah. What is that? What does it say? Okay, well, come look on my side because this is what I see. He sighs at me.
What am I looking at?
That's all that I see. Okay. So anyway, yeah, it'd take a lot. Okay. So I think somebody's just said the two of us are cute. Maybe they're talking about somebody else, but I think that they're talking about us. Okay. Oh. Okay. Lori. If Lori is still out there, Lori, I'm going to ask that you send me a text. Oh, yikes. Maybe that won't work. I have other texts from you that I haven't read yet. You can't text me. Text me from the events phone number, please, if there are other questions that I have not seen. So why is a Christian schools administrator facing 6 months of jail time? I can't speak on that because I don't think that that's a thing. I think that was something that somebody was worried about happening. But I don't know that that is actually something that's happening right now. Certainly, I would hope they have an attorney who's going to argue against that because it's just absurd. Tina, I'd be interested to know what church that you go to because I'd like to check it out if it's not too far away from home. Oh, what just happened? Oh, see, somebody said they wanted to see you, honey. Her rules. Did she really say that, Lisa? Gretchen Whitmer held a briefing on Facebook saying she will shut Michigan down again if people don't obey her rules. So if they are her rules, then again, you can't have an end run around the Constitution by going under another statute if you're still doing the exact same thing. She's just proving her case over and over again. Okay. It skipped. I'm really sorry, guys. It skipped. I was scrolling through these. And can you see if Lori is still on or Anna? I just want to make sure that one of them could text me if there are any questions that I missed because I don't want to jump off here if there's still questions that I need to address. And this thing is jumping all around on me now. Glenda, I'm not sure the context of your question about needing legal backup. If you're talking to me, I'm always open to backup. I'm not sure in what context you're talking about. About the health department being challenged, how they will be able to shut down. No, they can't. Okay, that was the one question I just saw. So the question, can she shut down the polling locations? Oh boy. Okay. No, well, especially which she are you talking about? They can't just shut down polling locations so people can't vote. I guess I haven't heard the actual allegation or context that we're talking about, so I don't know exactly how to address it, but the answer in general is no, they can't just shut down people from being able to vote. The cycle threshold. Oh, now we're using big medical terms on me that I'm too tired and incapable of answering. They're not going to release jack about anything. I mean, quite frankly, it's all about power for them. So, her threats to withhold freedom. So there's a question here about her threats to withhold freedom unless we vote for Biden. That's communism, is it not? I would say it's even worse than communism. That's literally holding us hostage. What's going on with the lawsuit against Mdhhs and Myosha? My understanding is that there has been a lawsuit just filed and nothing has happened on it yet. Could be wrong, but I haven't had a chance to see if there are any updates. How can a state employee assert themselves to not wear a mask at work? It'd be the same, honestly, as any other employee. They have no right to force anyone to wear a mask. So, especially if you have a medical exemption, that's one of the easier ones. But if you have a religious exemption or anything like that, again, you shouldn't have to even talk about that because they don't have the right to enforce it in the first place. But if you're talking about what is the quickest or easiest way to get around having to wear a mask in those scenarios, then try that. Let them know you have a medical exemption. Do they have to know what your medical condition is? No, because the need to breathe fresh air has always been an obvious one, and we've never had to define not being able to wear a mask as a medical condition, whereas now it's its own condition. And I'm not able to wear a mask for a variety of reasons, but certainly not being able to wear one because it harms your health would be one. Okay, I guess I didn't finish scrolling. Oh, shoot. Victoria Smith, I do see, can anyone see me? Do I have a driver for the 31st? I don't know. I just got some details about that today from Lori. I'm honestly really sad about the 31st because that's Halloween and my baby already sacrifices so much. So I don't know if I'm going to have to go down there and my husband will have to take Emma to do some Halloween stuff. So in that case, I would gladly take you up if you are offering to drive me to, I think it's Paw Paw. on the 31st. My question regarding restricting open carry at voting sites. Ryan, I'm not sure what your question is about that. I addressed it, so I'm not sure if you have a follow-up question on that. And somebody asked, have I filed briefs on any of the lawsuits? I have not filed any briefs. The last thing I have filed, I'll just say it that way, is the response to the governor's motion. She filed a motion with the Supreme Court on October 5th, and I filed a response on October 9th. So I guess it's been 2 weeks since I have filed anything in the Supreme Court. It just scrolled again. What is going on in Pawpaw? I believe there is several different Trump supporting groups that are converging all at the same place. And it sounds like I have been asked to speak. So I would hate to miss the opportunity to reach a few hundred people. But that is what's going on in Pawpaw. Can she shut down polling? No. The governor, the Secretary of State, they can't just shut down voting. That's not a thing. I would definitely think at some point, even the Trump administration, who's been that has been sitting on their laurels through much of this, they're going to have to step up and do something in that sense. But no, shutting down polling is not acceptable. In fact, to do so at such short notice would rob people of the opportunity to properly be able to get the absentee votes, voter ballots, or be able to turn them in an appropriate amount of time. And our Court of Appeals, in a unanimous decision, recently said that you cannot turn in your ballots late. The Court of Claims, the trial court had said, oh, you can, as long as it's timed or stamped the day before the election, even if it comes 2 weeks late, it's totally fine. And the Court of Appeals said, no, absolutely not. It needs to be received by the Secretary of State or the polling precinct by 8 p.m. on election day. So they can't do that now. Bo, you are saying, can I get an answer? I don't see what the original question is. I'm trying to scroll up. I'm not seeing that. All right. Well, Robert, I'm not sure if you've said anything else, but I'm guessing you might be offering to give me a ride to Pawpaw. Business licensee cannot be more lawful. What? Cannot have more lawful power than the licensor. I am not sure what you're getting at with that question. I'm sorry. Some of these questions, read your question. Danny Herman, I am not seeing what your question is, man. Wait, why do we have to defend our freedom and constitution to our government? Is that the question you want me to answer? If so, we don't have to defend our constitution to the government. We're defending ourselves with the constitution against our government. No, Christine, they don't have a right to do that to you. They don't have a right to have you prove that you have a medical condition. That's not even what the emergency order says. That's not even what the original executive orders said. Do you have to wear a mask to vote? No. In fact, even the emergency orders, don't I have those printed, babe? What's that?
Emergency orders.
Yeah. Don't I have the new orders from the director of the Department of Health and Human Services? Oh, Michael, I have people asking about it. And shoot, I don't know where those are. I'm fairly confident that for the person asking about if they can make us wear masks while voting, that not only, no matter what the law says, no matter what an order says, you have the right to go vote without wearing a mask. What I can tell you is that the original mask orders that were put out by Governor Whitmer herself had an exemption for voting. I can tell you that the last I checked, I am 99.9% certain that the orders that have come out from the director of the Department of Health and Human Services had a voting exemption, because they know they can't stop you from voting. That would be blatantly unconstitutional. Can she use martial law to shut down the polls? No, she can't. And guess what? That's one good reason why we have militia. All my militia friends, I hope you're paying attention to what she's been doing and that you're ready to act if necessary. But we need to be able to go and vote. She cannot shut us down from voting. What? Ron Armstrong suggested people wear masks at the polls? I'm not going to comment on Stand Up Michigan, I guess.
Who is this file minister? Is he trying to get you in trouble?
Why? What's going on?
He's probably an informant, FBI informant.
What are you talking about? Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. Christine is asking, are the latest MDHHS rules going to get overturned? Assuming they are fully brought in front of a court and the right questions or pieces of them are being addressed in court, yes, they'll get overturned, because I've got to think that at some point along the way, whether it's at the trial court level or Court of Appeals or Supreme Court, that somebody is going to understand they're just as unconstitutional as the original orders in the first place. I've already planted that seed and made that argument with the Michigan Supreme Court when she was asking for additional time with her orders in order to have enough time to fully implement his new orders that are directed by her. They just didn't address that issue. They just said no to her. If they lose powers when the restaurants violate code, what? If they lose those powers, then when the restaurant violates codes, wouldn't... I am not sure what the question is on that. Citizens arrest, what are the steps needed? Oh, is that what you're talking about? I am not the expert. Oh, shoot. It just jumped a bunch. I am not the expert on citizens arrest. So I just want you guys to know that I haven't looked at that recently. I can easily become an expert on that, but quite honestly, that's not where I'm at. I have way too many other things to do. The bigger fish to fry that I have right now are, first of all, getting the signatures to get the constitutional amendment on the ballot, as well as to check out these new laws that our state reps were really eager to work with the governor on putting into place. And also in keeping up to speed with the lawsuits filed against the Secretary of State by Michigan Coalition of Responsible Gun Owners and by the private Christian school that was suing over the mask orders, and you know, helping my friends who live in retirement communities who are being harassed and told they'll be evicted if they don't wear a mask in their own residence. So I'm doing the best I can, but citizens arrest is not the thing on my plate. Glad to know that you're always ready, Jane. It wouldn't even take $1 million to get someone elected, someone who really wants to do the right thing and help the people. Where there's a will, there's a way. Oh, I see why you were saying those things. Why didn't you just tell me that that's what you were talking about? Bo, I will definitely be talking about the state reps who signed on to certain bills. My team will help me with that. I have to read through them right now. I've been working nonstop, guys. I have events tomorrow. In fact, I will be in Allendale tomorrow at the American Patriot Council's event that they're putting on. So I will definitely be sharing that information. Oh, shoot. Yes. Who is 1911 Smoking Gun? I feel like I should know who you are. Yeah, I would definitely clean house on all the unconstitutional laws on the books. I would definitely be reducing the amount of money that we spend by billions of dollars in our government because there's a lot of waste. I would definitely be calling out Republicans, Democrats, you name it, for doing whatever BS they're pulling, because I don't care what letter is behind your name. If you're doing something wrong, you're doing something wrong and you've got to go. So yeah, that's why neither party would want to see me succeed in that effort. That's why it would take a 2-year commitment from committed volunteers in that effort to see that thing through. That's why the people would need to run the campaign, because for the next 2 years, that can't be my primary focus. I have to be fighting the good fight and stopping all this garbage in the meantime. But you can bet your bottom dollar I would be cleaning house on that. Absolutely. I would even hold off on moving to Florida just to be able to stick around long enough to clean up the garbage that our Republicans and Democrats have caused in our government for quite some time. Yes, talking about the two of you, cute, supportive couple. Oh, you got them fooled, babe. Yes, we will definitely be calling them. You're right, Bo. As soon as I release that information, as soon as I have a chance to look at that, you definitely need to be flooding them with calls, emails, text messages, however you know them, on Facebook, whatever. Oh, sugar. Why does it do that every so often? Somebody was asking about a vaccine and then it just jumped. Oh, I have no idea where I was. If our government cannot deprive us of our rights and it's issuing business licenses to do commerce with the public, how can a business licensee deprive us of our rights lawfully? Well, so lawfully is one thing, constitutionally is another thing. So definitely make sure to circulate the Restore Freedom Initiative petition, because if you read that, you'll see that none of those arbitrary things would be a thing anymore in the state of Michigan when that gets put into place. Okay, so is there a reason why we can't write someone in on the ballot? You can always write people in on the ballot. Michigan has this stupid law, which is unconstitutional, that says that if you're planning to run as a write-in candidate, you have to give them all of your identity information 10 days before the election. Okay, Danny, I read your question. I answered it a long time ago. If you had a different question, then I'm not seeing any other questions from you. Virginia, that I'm not going to repeat that question, but AG Barr better step up and do something to the Secretary of State, the Attorney General, and Whitmer. I could tell you that. Oh, it jumped again. Oh my goodness. I have no idea if anything with microchips passed. Like I said, all these bills that just passed and Governor Whitmer signed into law.
Past the House.
Are you talking about 50? What was it? The one that I had?
They say it's HB 5672. It's only passed the House. It hasn't passed the Senate.
So House Bill 5672 has only still passed the House, which we already knew about. It has not passed the Senate yet, so it's not on its way to the governor. And does it say what status it's in?
I don't think it's changed.
Okay. So, guys, I'm going to do my best, but let me tell you, there's a lot of scary stuff that the legislature is doing. I need each of you to be constantly looking at the legislature's website. If somebody can post it in the, well, you're on the chat. Can you post what you're looking at and the searching and stuff as a link for people to see? So I'm going to ask that you guys help keep an eye out for these things because I just can't possibly do it all. My team, I've had Joe on my team. Joe Moss has sent me some stuff this week to look at. I've had Lori send me some stuff. I've had Anna send me some stuff. I've had a lot of people send me bills to look at, and I just haven't had the time to look at it. So I guarantee you I'm going to try to look at these tonight. But I'm going to make brushing my teeth and, taking my medicine my priority. And if I'm still awake long enough to pluck out my contacts and try to read this, great. Otherwise, I just run out of time at the end of every day. And people are wanting me to file cases, and people are wanting me to file amicus briefs and the cases that are already filed. And people are wanting me to, step in and help them in their employment situations and in their apartment buildings and in their school settings. Guys, I need more of you to step up and help. You don't need to be an attorney to read the Constitution. You don't need to be an attorney to read laws. You do not need to be an attorney to read bills as they're moving through the House and the Senate. You have a right to speak up and speak out. You have a right to hold your representatives accountable. You have a right to question your senators on what they're voting or what they think they're about to vote on. You have the right to participate in any public hearings on any of those topics. If you have the ability to get to Lansing, go participate in those. Go to your local school board meetings, go to your local county commissioner meetings, go to anything that you can participate in and fight, fight, fight. Know your Constitution, get a copy. The one thing I don't have access to right now, but I am working with Gary from the Patriot Store. Is that what it's called? The Patriot Store? On Plainfield in Grand Rapids. He is going to see if he can get a hold of some state constitutions in printed format so we could try to send those out to you guys as well. So please make sure that you carry around the state constitution with you. Print it off if you need to. The link is available right on my website, restorefreedomkh.com/resources. You can also take with you the United States Constitution. And again, that is something we've been able to sell to you guys at our cost. But you can also print that off too through our website, restorefreedomkh.com in the resources tab. So please make sure that you are we working with the recall? Yeah, that's what I started with. You must not have been on, Dwayne, when I was talking about that. That's how the update started. So make sure, though, that you guys are really helping each other, that you're holding your government officials accountable, that you have confidence. Read the stuff I put out, read the briefs I put out, watch the videos 2-3 times if you need to go over some of those pieces of the law. You have rights. God gave them to you. No government official can take them away. I don't care who they are. I don't care if it's a whole bunch of them. If it's 110 state reps and if it's 38 senators and it's our governor that all agree on the same thing, I don't care. If they're not following the Constitution, they don't have the right to take your rights away from you, period. So we need to step up and help each other. And Dwayne wants me to remind you guys that we are, working fighting right alongside recall. So like I said at the beginning, if you follow that link, restorefreedomkh.com kh.com/election day. That'll take you to sign up in one of the 200 precincts that we, Restore Freedom, are organizing to get signatures on election day. But if you can volunteer, but you haven't been able to, if you're not able to volunteer for one of those precincts that are mentioned there, then as soon as I get that link from David Blair for the recall side, I will actually put that link right in our sign up form so you can see how to just click into theirs and be able to go and sign up through them. Whether you're volunteering through us or volunteering through them, I'm asking everybody to circulate both petitions because most people want to secure freedom long term, which is what the what the Restore Freedom Initiative is going to do. And other people just want their voice heard and want the governor removed from office so that it sends a message. And so that's, of course, what recall would do. So definitely make sure to think about that carefully so that you can be informed and you know what each petition does. But circulating both would be a great idea. Like I said, we are just coordinating the 200 precincts, whereas the recall is coordinating the other precincts. So, shoot, what? State Constitution is framed in our treatment rooms. If you could make a list of what we can do to help. Oh, I think I lost the context, Bo, of what you're talking about with being able to help, but so I'm not sure what is meant by that, but if you, and I'm not sure if that's your real name or if that's just a student, a nickname for purposes of YouTube. So yes, I'd be glad to have you on board and helping in some way or what people can do. I just don't know exactly what your particular question is in that sense. I honestly don't. I don't take 5 minutes off to just sit. So I'm not being sarcastic. Like I literally go nonstop from the moment I wake up. I have a Zoom meeting with our team every day to the moment I go to bed. I'm reading something or answering emails until I fall asleep. And my husband takes my phone out of my hand and plugs it in for me. So I don't have the time to write any additional lists right now, but hopefully I was able to answer verbally through the video, whatever question specifically you were looking for there. It just jumped again. That is your real name. Okay. Oh yeah. And I wasn't even thinking of donating. I mean, yeah, actively helping in what sense though? I mean, just the petitions. One of the best and easiest ways right now is if you go to restorefreedomkh.com/get involved, I believe is the link. But anyway, if you go to restorefreedomkh.com, there's a get involved tab. And there's some easy examples on how to get involved. If you're talking about what I was saying in general about how to, support your neighbors or friends, to support, government officials who want to take a stand against the masks or against whatever, then that's going to be different. I don't know. I don't have a clear and easy answer for you on that because I don't know in what ways they might need our assistance or might need our support. So I would say keep your eyes and ears open to be able to help people in that regard. One huge thing you can do to help people is I've had several people make really big orders from us of the Constitution to be able to share around with their friends and family. So sharing that, even just going to our website, getting the link that has the most recent, up-to-date Michigan Constitution and the United States Constitution, share those URLs. I mean, that's free. Just share those everywhere with anybody you can on all your social media. Get people to read, even if they're just going to read one little bit, tell them to read Article 1 of the state constitution. That'll give them a huge opportunity to help people. Read this one, please. If you and we see that the government official, or in this case, Hitler Whitmer, broke many laws and she is still not jailed. Why? I did answer that. I'm not sure how else you want me to answer that one. I'm sorry, Danny. The governor should be in jail. She should not be in office. She's violated laws. Many people have died or have been injured or have had their businesses destroyed. I don't have control over that, and I haven't been the one digging into how to hold her criminally responsible at this point. It needs to happen. It should happen, but I don't have the specifics on how to answer that for you. Eventually, I will, but my focus right now is not on how to eventually get her to be held accountable. My focus right now is how to stop this insanity, how to help people keep their rights intact, how to be able to empower people to be able to get the medical treatment they need or live in their apartment buildings in peace, or be able to go to the store and get groceries or get what other services they need. That is what I'm trying to help people do right now. I'm also trying to help make sure that our legislature is not passing ridiculous bills for our governor to happily sign so they can continue to control us. So that's where my specialty or my time or my expertise is being focused on right now. Oh, shoot.
Danny has a lot of faith in it, and you must think you know everything. How are you supposed to know why Trump isn't stepping in?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen that. Oh, crap. There was a... Bo, you said something about you instant messaged me. If you're talking about on Facebook, I don't have Messenger. It hasn't worked for me since May. Is there anything I have instant messenger? I don't have instant messenger on anything. So I don't know if you're talking about that you've texted me. But Bo, if you're talking to me that you've instant messaged me, I haven't seen anything from you. Can I be held in contempt of court for refusing to wear a mask when summoned to jury duty? No way. Unfortunately, can it physically happen to you? Yes. Is that legal or constitutional for them to do that to you, Sharon? The answer is no. Again, it's one of those things that I am just disgusted. If you tell them you have symptoms of COVID-19 and you can't be, seen in the building, maybe that'll be an easy way to get you out of it. I don't know. What on earth? Yes, I don't know all those answers, Danny. Why is Trump not doing his damn job in that sense? I don't know. He should be holding these governors accountable when they are violating people's rights left and right. I don't understand why he's not doing that. Okay, so people think you're patient and helpful. Even he laughed at that one. Oh crap. Sorry guys, you are it skipped again. So Twitter. On which account? I have yeah. Hopefully I answered the last couple questions, Lori, that you were trying to send over to me. As far as Twitter goes, I don't see that I have any. It must be the other account that I have. I have 5 people that have 7 message requests. Oh, I did not see those. Initially, yes, back in May. and you must have a different name on there. So Bo, I don't see any messages from you on there. If you have something that you want to share with me, you can send an email. Honestly, I don't know what the fastest way to get to me is these days because I'm definitely behind on some emails. Some emails, if I see them right then and there, I answer them the best I can. But other emails, like while I'm doing this, I'm not answering the 400 emails that just came in. So it just depends on when it comes in. Otherwise, if it's something you can get to Lori DeVries, who's been on here, she might be able to help figure out how to best fit it in. But I don't see a message from you on Twitter. Okay, babe, are there any other questions that you see that I don't see? Thanks for taking one for the team on that, Lori. So, Bo, if you want to email whatever it is that you have to Lori, she just put her email address right in there for all to see. So, if you can do that, send it to her that way. I want to make sure that I see that. So, sorry guys. I know that everybody wants to be able to. Yeah, Stand Up Michigan is not supporting me. I tried to get them on board at the end of May, and well, I won't tell you how that Zoom conversation went because how it went and how it turned out in reality turned out to be two different things. So they're not supporting me. I'll just put it that way. And neither is the legislature because, as people have pointed out, I'm taking away their power too to give it back to we the people where it belongs. So awesome. Someone just told me I get to go to bed. Okay. I think I'll take that. But anyway, for just last comment there, if any of you guys are trying to reach out to me and you've tried emailing or you've tried, getting us through a variety of different things, I'm doing my absolute best. I'm not ignoring anyone, even if I think it's, something where somebody doesn't agree with me. I don't ignore people just for that. If it's hate mail, I don't respond to that, usually. Sometimes it's particularly stupid and I'll put you in your place. But for the most part, I answer everybody. I'm really far behind. And, it's me and Mike. That's it. So we're the ones checking the mail. We're the ones processing the petitions. We're the ones getting them sorted into the raw versus the sorted or whatever. We're the ones that are, answering the door when you have a bunch of different petition validators coming in the daytime to be here. I'm at some point supposed to be able to homeschool my daughter. That'd be really great if I could get back into that. Or if I ever got to actually spend some quality time with my husband, I would love to know how to be able to get that. So first I have to call you. I think I missed a whole bunch of conversation there, guys. I'm still a badass. I try to be in the appropriate situations, that's for sure. So I just want to let you guys know if there was an easy way to funnel all communication into one place, that'd be great. But I need help from my team to be able to, because if my team can answer questions for you and they're willing to do that, I'd rather get you to them because then you can get an answer and get it quicker. So I ask my husband to help where he can, and we have Rachel that helps to answer the text messages and phone calls where she can. And Lori helps, she's basically the main person that answers the Facebook stuff. We have a whole team of people that are on the management side of the Facebook group, and emails, depending on which of our emails, because we have like 10 accounts for different things. Some of them are just me on my phone, which is why it's going to take me an eternity to ever email everyone back. But I promise you I'm doing my best. And if you're offering to help, please, reach out to us, fill out our form, contact our volunteer coordinator. please, whatever you can do with that, I would greatly appreciate that. I'm certainly not turning away any volunteers. I'm just not always in the best position to be able to see a particular communication come in. That's all. So why did that turn, and now it's yellow? That I don't understand this stuff. I'm going to have my YouTube sensei give me some. Well, I'll just have my sensei. Where is Micah Young when I need him? 2A EDU. What? Hey, now, Micah, you're not supposed to do a YouTube live while I'm doing one because we have the same. Oh, shoot. Okay, my bad. Sorry. I should have seen that you had one scheduled. Oh, shoot. There's a bunch of... Okay, wow. Yes. Good. Oh, wait, somebody just said... Okay, that was not a question for me. We need a bigger team. Absolutely, we need a bigger team, and we'll figure out ways to get that structured. Right now, I'm living one day at a time. I mean, I'm truly trying to do that. So, Lori, it looks like Bo was giving you an email, so I'm not sure if you can get that email address or what the back and forth would be on that. Threatened me saying that my kid needs shots if in school or at home school. What? Or face jail? Is that the case? No, you might need to tell them you have an exemption. You cannot be jailed, though, if you tell them I have an exemption. My child is not going to get any additional shots. My child has not been. She had some initial shots when she was born and at a few of the checkups. And through the help of groups like Michigan Vaccine Choice, I began to research the vaccine inserts myself to read right from the manufacturer the things that they're saying that are in those vaccines, things they have not tested for, and all kinds of other things. And I decided against quite a few of the most recent ones. And they're not going to put me in jail over it. I'd like to see them try. There's quite a few things that they're going to try, though.
Is still going, so we should all just go jump on his video.
So is it a 2A EDU one or is it his Patriot EDU?
No, 2A EDU.
Is he talking about the election stuff? What's the main topic?
He's talking about ammo prices.
Well, not everybody's going to want to know. If you want to know about ammo prices, then I'm going to ask you to leave this YouTube channel and go over to 2A EDU because apparently he's doing a big YouTube discussion on ammo prices right now. So thank you, One Little Lamb Bible Study. I know who you are, and I can't think of who you are, but okay. Cheryl, good. I got permission from my buddy Cheryl that I got to hang out with today. She says I get to go to bed as well. So, all right. Yeah, the next vaccines are even worse. Yes, you are correct. Former Uber. I was born here. I'm pretty sure that means I'm always a Uber. So yeah, I might have had kids born down here, but I was born up here. So yeah, I'm a Uber. I love pasty and I love playing pinochle. And I like the Green Bay Packers. So that makes me a Uber. Would you recommend taking your child off the Michigan vaccine database? Absolutely. I would do it. I haven't even thought about that. So, all right, Anna, good night. Thank you so much. So she's going to bed. I'm going to go to bed as well. So, all right, guys, have an absolutely wonderful evening. Like I said, if you want to hear about ammo prices, please check out the
title is Biden-Harris Gun Control Plan.
2A EDU YouTube video that's going live right now from my friend Micah Young, who's going to have to teach me all about the YouTube stuff right here since I'm a newbie. But I do appreciate you guys coming on, and check out restorefreedomkh.com for all the latest updates. All the tabs on there will explore that website fully, and you'll see great ways to get involved, great ways to donate, where to sign the petition. where to get information on the Michigan Constitution and the United States Constitution, and a variety of other resources. So thanks so much for tuning in tonight, guys, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much to my team, especially Lori and Anna and any of my other team that might have been on here helping with this tonight.